Greetings, everyone, and welcome to the Origin Zone, home of the origin stories of the who, what, when, where, and hows of life, and things that just make you wonder. I am your host, the Originator. If knowing random facts is your thing, or you want to be the king of trivia night, then you're in the right place. Before we get started, don't forget to subscribe so that we can continue to bring you interesting content. Today, we are diving into the origin of Post-it notes. Okay, let's get to it. The origin of Post-it notes. A sticky innovation. When we think of the ubiquitous, colorful Post-it notes, it's hard to imagine a world without them. These little squares of paper, designed for quick reminders and notes, have become essential in offices, homes, and classrooms worldwide. But how did they come into existence? And who thought of such a simple, yet revolutionary idea? The invention of Post-it notes can be traced back to a happy accident that occurred in the late 1960s at 3M, a company known for its innovation. The story starts with Dr. Spencer Silver, a scientist working at 3M in Minnesota. Silver was trying to develop a super strong adhesive, but ended up creating something entirely different. In 1968, after years of experimenting, he invented a low-tack, pressure-sensitive adhesive that didn't leave a residue when removed. This adhesive could stick to surfaces and be easily peeled off, but it didn't have a clear use at the time. At first, this new adhesive seemed like a failure. There was no immediate commercial application for it, and many of Silver's colleagues found it hard to see its potential. However, Silver refused to give up on the idea. He gave presentations about his invention to anyone who would listen, but it wasn't until 1974 that someone found a use for it. Arthur Fry, another 3M scientist, was a regular attendee of Dr. Silver's presentations about the unique adhesive. Fry, who was also a choir member, was struggling with keeping his bookmarks in place during rehearsals. He had long used scraps of paper to mark pages in his hymnal, but they often fell out or were hard to reposition. One day, while listening to Silver's talk, an idea suddenly clicked in his mind. What if he could use the low-tack adhesive to make a sticky note that could be attached and removed without damaging the paper? Fry quickly began experimenting with the adhesive, attaching it to small pieces of paper. The result was exactly what he had envisioned: a note that could be easily stuck to surfaces and peeled off without leaving any residue. This was the moment that Post-it notes were born. While Fry's idea seemed brilliant, there were still hurdles to overcome. 3MS management was initially hesitant about the product. They weren't convinced that people would see the value in such a simple idea. However, after creating prototypes and testing them internally, 3M decided to launch the product on a small scale. In 1980, 3M released Post-it notes in a few test markets, but the response was lukewarm. Many people didn't immediately recognize the utility of the product. The breakthrough came in 1981 when 3M placed Post-it notes in retail stores with clever in-store demonstrations. Once consumers saw the sticky notes in action, the product took off. The ability to write a note, stick it to a surface, and easily remove it without leaving a trace captured people's attention. The product became an instant hit. By 1982, Post-it notes were available nationwide, and soon after, they became a global phenomenon. Their popularity surged, not just in offices, but in schools, homes, and everywhere else where people needed to leave messages, reminders, or notes. The square yellow design, which had become iconic, was initially chosen because it was a color that stood out without being too bold. Today, Post-it notes are sold in a variety of colors, sizes, and designs. They are used for everything from brainstorming sessions and to-do lists to art projects and classroom teaching. The simple adhesive note has evolved into a versatile tool that people rely on daily. Post-it notes are a perfect example of how an accidental discovery, paired with creativity and persistence, can result in something that revolutionizes the way we work and communicate. Dr. Spencer Silver's adhesive, which seemed to have no purpose at first, found a surprising application thanks to the inventive thinking of Arthur Fry. Their collaboration at 3M led to one of the most recognizable and enduring products of the 20th century. In a world that's become increasingly digital, the humble Post-it note continues to hold its place in our daily routines. Whether it's leaving a reminder on your computer screen or brainstorming with colleagues in a meeting, the little sticky note remains a symbol of simple practical innovation. The story of Post-it notes is a reminder that great ideas often arise from unexpected places. Thanks to the creativity of Spencer Silver and Arthur Fry, a failed experiment turned into one of the most beloved office supplies of all time. Their invention shows that sometimes the most impactful innovations are the ones that are deceptively simple and accessible, making them an integral part of our daily lives. I hope you enjoyed today's origin story, and if you like the content, be sure to hit that like button and subscribe so you never miss an episode. If you have an origin story you want to know more about, drop in the comments and submit your idea and be recognized in future posts and video. You can also subscribe to our blog at thoriginzone.com to receive daily posts every morning at 7:11 a.m. Well, that's it for today. Stay curious, stay blessed, and we will see you on the next one.